This show features adults using adult language. You have been warned. Okay, this is Dwayne and I'm clapping once.
This is Joe and I'm clapping twice.
This is Todd and I'm clapping 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, that'll work. That was fabulous clapping, Todd. This is HammerCast, episode 19, bringing you your weekly news and discussion about the world of games, smashing buttons, clicking mice, shuffling cards, and rolling dice. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, 2015. My name is Dwayne Sibley, and I am joined by your hosts, Mr. Todd Chartier and Mr. Joe Hollis. How are you this week, gentlemen?
I am swell. Just swell.
Bueno.
See. So what have you guys been playing?
Bueno.
What have we been playing?
Me? Okay,
yeah,
I'll start.
Go on, Joe.
I have been playing a lot of Ori and the Lost Forest, is it?
I've heard good things about that game.
It is really fun. As you get further into it and get more abilities and stuff, it is very enjoyable. And I've been having a blast with it. And I would recommend it to anybody who likes platformer, kind of fightery puzzle games. It is very enjoyable.
Maybe you should do a 10-minute review YouTube video of it, Joe.
I could do that. That would be a good idea.
I've been playing Work, a lot of that lately. A little bit of Heroes of the Storm since it was the 100 XP week. That was kind of fun.
That ended yesterday, right?
Yeah, that ended yesterday. The new expansion for WoW came out yesterday. I haven't had a chance to touch that yet.
Or the new major patch, you mean, 6.2?
Yeah, same thing to me. And so maybe tonight I'll go take a look at that. I think that's about it. I don't think I've been playing
No,
much else.
you're forgetting something. The three of us have been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh,
lately.
that's what I was sitting here trying to think what's been using all of my time playing games. And, right.
Wow.
Yes, we've been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic again.
We start playing a whole new MMO altogether, and it just completely fades.
MMO again.
Again. New to our routine,
again.
not new to the planet, but a whole new MMO, and it just disappears from both of your memory. That's amazing.
Memorable.
We all played it once, got bored of it, and stopped playing, so we're going to see if anything has changed, 2 years, 3 years later?
Yeah, something like that.
We started looking at Lotro, but which is Lord of the Rings Online, but the paywall on that is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
in
another
order
one
to
of those...
get to almost max level, you're going to $150 in, and it just didn't feel like it was worth it to me.
You might as well subscribe to that, but there's a lot of reasons just to subscribe to SWTOR too. So
which we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all the free-to-play MMOs tend to nickel and dime you. I think the only one I've played that was free-to-play and didn't feel like you needed to keep putting quarters into the machine to get your time in is Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
Their pay model is pretty open and relaxed, which was nice.
I haven't looked at that game in a dog's age.
Guild Wars 2 does a pretty good free model too.
Right, because they're
free.
they're buy to play, but after that you're done, right?
Speaking of Guild Wars 2, I think we have some news about them.
Yes,
we do.
Segway.
We'll go ahead and we'll be talking about them later. First, we've got some follow up from our E3 episode that we want to tackle.
All right.
First off, everyone will remember that one of the bigger announcements from E3 last week was that Microsoft would be adding backwards compatibility to the Xbox One for their Xbox 360 catalog. Right now it's working with, I think, about 10 or 20 games. They hope to have 100 games functioning by the holiday season when they plan to roll out this feature public. And Sony did not go punch for punch with them on this. And in an interview with, let's see. Well, the Xbox head of publishing. No, that's not it either. Well, anyway, PS4 will not be having backwards compatibility. Not now, not in the near future. It may be something they add way down the line, but I honestly think that Sony's choice of architecture for the PS3, while a big advantage in terms of making their system graphically nicer, and more powerful than the Xbox 360 is keeping them from being able to implement backwards compatibility in a straightforward way. Did you guys look into or read about this in any sort of
I
fashion
did. They
at
were
all?
saying that it's too difficult for them to just make everything backwards compatible, so they're just going to focus on moving forward, making new things, and occasionally adding older games to their PlayStation Now. Is that what it's called?
Right. Yeah.
So occasionally you'll see one of the more popular games pop up there, but there's going to be no taking your old PlayStation games, putting them into the console, having them download
just
to
playing
it and
them,
playing
right.
it. Yeah.
Now, PlayStation Now is Sony's on-demand video game rental service, and it offers a number of PS2 and PS3 titles that would otherwise be unplayable on PS4. Now, for those folks who aren't really aware of what makes the PS3 stuff so different, most of our consoles usually have a single processor. It might have multiple cores like the one in your computer, but it's usually just a single processor that takes care of handling all the heavy lifting, mathematics, etc. And with the PS3, Sony chose to go with a very, very exotic chip called the Cell. And it was 8 separate CPUs that communicated with each other in a very strange and difficult to develop for fashion. So, and PS4 has gone back to that single CPU architecture that is in your computer, my computer, your phone, etc.
What are they using? Sorry, what is in the PS4?
I believe they're using an AMD chip. I don't recall which one. If I had to just guess, I'd say it was probably the Jaguar. But
I think they're both using AMD chips, right?
Both Xbox and I don't know.
I think yeah. I thought they both went with. Maybe I'm thinking of video cards. Maybe they both went with AMD subsystems.
Yeah, I know last console generation, all 3 of the major consoles, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and the Nintendo Wii, all used ATI graphics. This was before AMD bought ATI, but I used to joke that the people who won the console war in the 7th generation was ATI, because they got to ship chips in every single one.
Well, now you know what kept them afloat.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There are 2 quad-core Jaguars in the Xbox One, and there is an 8-core Jaguar in the PS4. So they're essentially the same machine.
Interesting.
Very. And they both have AMD graphics on board.
Again, what's keeping AMD afloat?
So AMD's winning, even if they can't get inside your
Right.
computer. They are already in your living room. Too bad. So we'll go ahead and link the article on the backwards compatibility stuff in the show notes. Todd, did you have any commentary on this?
I mean, how many like roughly AAA games are out for the Xbox 360? Are we talking hundreds, thousands?
Well, the console, the 7th console generation lasted nearly a decade. It was one of the longer console generations of our lifetimes. So, you know, as far as AAA games are concerned, we're probably talking about in the dozens, because it's every year's worth of AAA releases over a lifespan of like 7 to 8 years for these consoles. So that's quite a bit.
So for Microsoft to say they're going to have 100 ready by year end is actually a pretty good amount then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty good amount if they're all AAA games. I mean, if they're all like, you know, Barbie Horse Adventure and, you know, as much as I liked, you know, Viva Pinata, you know, it would not be the top of my list of Xbox 360 games I would want to play on my Xbox One.
That was a game I owned, so fuck off.
No, I owned it too. Like I said, I enjoyed the hell out of Viva Pinata, but there are other games I'd want faster, is what I'm saying.
Viva Pinata.
I never owned that, so.
I gave it away.
Some more follow-up here. Let's talk about Fallout 4. First off, sounds like there's going to be a frame rate cap on the PC version of Fallout 4. It will run at a full 1080p, but will be, I'm sorry, this is on the console version of Fallout 4. It'll run at 1080p on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it'll be capped at 30 frames per second. resolutions and frames per second will be unlocked completely on PC. So those of you with 4K monitors or really big wide monitors like my, what is this, a 29-inch 2560 by 1080. Anyway, whatever size monitor you have, it'll run Half-Life 4, which will be nice. But the frame rate cap on the consoles is kind of odd. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I thought that someone else just, and I can go dig for it if I need to, someone else just made the argument as to why 30 frames is more than enough on a TV. I don't know if the technology is different. I didn't think it really was. But I don't know. I thought someone just made that. As a side question, are they fully supporting 4K?
I don't know. Let's take a look. See if they have said anything about 4K.
Well, usually you see videos in 40 frames, isn't it?
Videos are, well, it's complicated.
Right.
But in general, your film in the theater is between 24 and 30 frames a second, and stuff that we watch in gaming is usually around 60 frames a second, or at least that's the ideal. I know YouTube is rolling out the ability to stream 60 frame per second content, and it looks amazing.
Well,
they've already
got that. They're starting to implement 4K YouTube videos.
Right.
What the hell?
I don't know. I saw somebody post a little stick figure cartoon with the option of 4K. And I was like, you could play this thing in 480. The difference isn't going to be very noticeable. So, yeah.
I mean, there's real consumer 4K cameras yet. So
not to my knowledge, unless they made like a 4K GoPro or something like that.
Yeah, so we're really just even that. I mean, GoPros are $300 to start with. If you're talking a 4K one, it's gonna be a lot more. I mean, the cheapest 4K video camera I know would be like the Red One, and that's in the thousands.
The GoPro Hero 4 has a 4K action model that's retailing right now at Best Buy for $500 even.
Well, I mean, that's not like crazy bad. You still got to be smoking some good green shit if you're going to buy it for that. But if it's your livelihood, it's different.
I can definitely notice the difference between 30 and 60 frames on a video. So,
right,
it is a noticeable difference. I mean, we're talking frames and resolutions, but
most TV content is between 30 and 40, and we don't notice it when we're watching TV.
Yeah, between 24 and 30.
Right. So it's interesting. I don't know why it's different. I don't know what I'm not smart enough to understand.
None of us are eye doctors.
Yeah. Or
but
TV
if you are, let us know
and subscribe
and send me a tweet. I like tweets.
Yeah, he really does. Everybody email or tweet Todd.
Tweet my twat and I'll twat your tweet. Also,
regarding Fallout, they're saying that the Fallout series, as great as it is, has never been known for having the best cutting-edge graphics. That's usually the job of Far Cry or Crysis or anything from that particular Crytek developer.
Is Crysis still a thing?
As long as Crytek is around, I'm sure it'll come back eventually.
Fart Cry.
I mean, they made gangbusters success with the Far Cry games. So
Far Cry. I've never played a Far Cry game thing.
I can say that I have never played a Fart Cry game.
A fart cry?
Oh, I've had a few farts that made me cry. That different.
You've had a few farts that have made me cry. So
I aim to please.
And shoot to kill.
Your tears sustain me.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, well, yeah, the tears, because of the, yeah, okay.
The tear gas.
Anyway, so Fallout 4 is not going to be on par with the best graphical achievements of this console and PC generation, but Bethesda says that's okay because they're trying to shoot for a balance, all of the deep role-playing and conversation stuff and all of the interactivity afforded to you by an open-world Fallout game helps to offset the fact that it may not look quite as good as, say, The Order 1886 or Destiny or the latest Assassin's Creed games. How do you guys feel about that?
About it not having the best graphics?
Yeah.
As long as they're decent and modern-ish and the gameplay is good, I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Joe?
I care more about how the game functions and what you can do in the game. Graphics are a little part of it. Like, they can't just be downright awful. But
Right.
as long as they're decent graphics, which from what I saw in the trailers, they looked okay. I think that more than makes up for it having great gameplay. And
Yeah, go on.
it'll probably run better on my computer if it's not the craziest graphics.
I think one thing that's important is we can't forget graphics. I mean, we can't just let them completely fall behind because, then it becomes, to me, retro, and I'm not really, I don't get a hard-on for a lot of that retro stuff. So
Says the guy who plays Minecraft.
that's not retro. See, you just never got into the intellectual aspect of Minecraft.
Also,
The intellectual aspect of Minecraft?
there's tons of mods and everything.
Few games have made me think as hard as Minecraft.
All right, that's fair.
When you take all these mods and you try to accomplish things and make them do things and get it all wired and piped and configured and all this kind of stuff, they're more complicated than...
I did a little bit of that with you guys in the early days.
I mean, it's like night and day from when it was when you did it. It's 10 times more complicated.
And there's tons of different programs that'll up not only the graphics, like higher res textures, but there's all sorts of shaders and lighting effects, and you can make the game. It's still blocks, but they look like really nice blocks.
It raped my computer.
Yes, it did.
Like it wanted to burn itself through the desk.
Is that back when your computer would randomly shut itself off? Because if it was Minecraft that was doing it, I'm going to have a little laugh.
It might have been Minecraft then, because Minecraft just spikes the CPU. It just goes crazy. Doesn't really touch the video card, but now with the shader mods, it actually uses the video card to render some of that stuff. That's a lot of shit to render, and it just...
Right.
So now it's spiking the CPU to deal with the core game and raping my video card.
So that new Hitman game they talked about last week looked kind of interesting, going around and having an open world assassination fest. Square Enix has said that they plan to expand the game with new missions and locations after its initial December 8th release this year. And apparently all of those updates are going to be free. All additional content through next year, that's 2016, will be available to download at no additional cost, with no DLC and no microtransactions. They say the game's fully complete at launch, but the story itself will not be finished. So they will add on to what releases on 8th December and help flesh out the game for you as time goes on.
So it's kind of like the Telltale Games model, where you buy the game and then more of the story comes out as you're playing, like after time. And
you have the different episodes.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Are we excited for this game? Are we excited for Hitman? Is this something we're going to do?
I've never played any of the Hitmans myself. They look like fun. They look like a modern day Assassin's Creed kind of thing.
Right.
Where you're being stealthy, taking out your targets, shooting people in the head, taking their identity, running people over. Can you drive cars in Hitman?
You just said running people over and you don't even know if we can drive cars?
I'm just thinking of Grand Theft Auto again.
I guess we can find out in December, or I'm sure they'll have media for it out before then.
It's going to be... I don't know. I mean, that game, it looks interesting. There's a lot of stuff coming out this year. I haven't really decided what I'm doing yet.
What are you doing right now?
What the hell are you doing?
Stuff.
So Todd,
go on.
Todd's trying to stick something onto his microphone as we're recording, which is really kind of odd.
Anyone else?
It's a label that says something. So you went and got your label maker in the middle of the show.
No.
And you...
Hold on.
What's it say?
God damn this fucking sticker. I've never had problems with them before. There's this.
You heard it here first, folks. Todd has difficulty operating a sticker.
I bought one of these. No.
That's your phone.
That.
Yeah, that's your phone. It's the label maker.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's hooked
it's
up
like
to
a
the
little
computer.
label printer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
And to the right of that, you can see the fruit fucker.
Oh, yeah, fruit fucker back there. It's a tour of my desk. So let's
Yes.
let's start over here.
I apologize to the podcast listeners. There's really not much you can see, but if you want to get in on the tour of Todd's surprisingly messy desk,
Yeah, it is messy today. I wasn't expecting a tour.
There's a poop bag.
then you can head over to our YouTube channel. We'll have the links in the show notes. Is that a big ass leaf of lettuce on your desk?
No, that's a poop bag.
Yep.
For the dog. That's my snap scan. That's my second monitor with a speaker there.
With the clapper.
That's my Nostromo and my the charger base for my radio.
Mm-hmm.
And some dice, because you got to have some dice. There's my heating pad to when I'm working on homemade e-juices. Let's see, there's my X51.
There's your other monitor.
There's my keyboard I'm using right now, some Razer thing. My big monitor,
Right.
my 30-inch thing. My UPS.
Mm-hmm.
My Raspberry Pi DV Mega project, and anyone's a ham radio user, you'd know what that is. My phone.
Oh, you got the hat on it?
Huh?
Is the hat on it yet? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there it is.
I drilled
Nice.
it and put the antenna through it. And anyone who wants to talk about ham radio, I'm happy to do that. There's my upside-down MacBook Pro, my light, my TV in my office, my home server that just died, my printer.
Wait, hasn't it been dead for like years?
No, it
Or did you
finally
get another one?
bit the bullet. No, that's the same one. That's going to be all my ham radio stuff over there. I haven't set it all up yet. So, and this is always special.
Oh my God.
That's what the meso wires behind
folks,
my monitor looks like.
Todd has a rat's nest of cabling behind his monitors.
I would like
I'm
to,
not an electrician, but I'm going to have to call that a fire hazard.
I'd like to point out that, I'm a senior network engineer, and I pay people to do cabling for me, and I would fire them if I found anything like that.
You clearly need to hire them and have them come do your house.
Yeah.
I'm not showing my desk.
Okay, so that's
I'm not going to show my desk because my desk is just as bad, to be honest, only like a third the size.
And we didn't show, so this
God.
This is my mic and my pop screen, and it's
Yep.
spiffy little arm that goes back there, and it's a Yeti something or another. Dwayne
Yep,
knows.
it is a Blue Yeti, which is what all three of us are using now here at HammerCast.
Yep.
Although we'll be looking to upgrade a little bit in the coming months.
No,
Yeah, I'm looking at high-old Pro 40s as our next big upgrade.
I am sticking to the Yeti for the
A while.
Yeah, the indefinite future.
Oh, too high.
Too low.
Okay.
Okay, you guys ready to move on?
Yeah,
Am I
sorry.
We've
leaving
got
that
one
in?
more piece. We've got,
why
yeah, sure, why not? We've got one more piece of follow-up that I wanted to hit before we go on to the news, and that is the Uncharted 4 demo at the end of Sony's presser at E3 last week. We were all snarky, very snarky in the live stream about how the demo hung for about 30 seconds before being restarted. And it comes out now that we have the truth behind this particular snafu. It's not the game that crashed. The demo player came out to the stage to play it, and no one handed him a controller.
Yeah.
So that 30 seconds was him going, hey, where's my controller?
No,
I can't play if you don't hand me a controller.
He did find a controller. He reached around in the dark and found one, but it was attached to the wrong PlayStation. So they had to quickly change. I don't know if they changed which PlayStation he was playing on, or
Right.
if they changed the controller to the correct PlayStation, but once they got that sorted out, he got to actually play the demo. But at least everybody knows now that it was played live, and that he
that's
is
true.
a
And it
badass
looked really good.
at playing that game.
Yeah, he drove the balls out of that
So
Jeep, right? Am I thinking of the right?
the game's creative director, Neil Druckmann, joked afterward that the Final Fantasy VII Remake screams were so loud they shorted out the controller, and that's why they had that little problem. All right,
Damn.
so I think that's it for follow-up this week. So this is as good as time as any to remind you that HammerCast is brought to you by the Hammer gaming community. We're an adults-only group of gamers from across North America and Europe that play all sorts of games together. We've been around since 2007, originating as an MMO guild and expanding into a full community with our own website, forums, Minecraft server, and the podcast you're listening to or watching right now. You can check us out at hammergaming.com. So let's do the news. Microsoft and their Windows 10 for free pledge keeps getting less and less clear as time goes on.
Well, no, I think it started clear as mud, and they're slowly clarifying all of the... Like, at the beginning, it was like, free Windows 10 for everybody! And then it's like, well, only if you owned a copy, or you do the preview. And now it's like, well, only if you continue to agree to do previews and early beta things only, not if you opt out immediately.
Right. No dipping your toes in the pool and saying you got wet.
I mean, the one thing that's still very clear is that people who own Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 are guaranteed to get
good to go.
A free upgrade.
Right.
It's the gray area of the free preview or whatever, the preview of Windows 10. They say if you start now and you keep opting into Windows 10 updates, then you'll get a free copy when it comes out. But if you opt out just before it goes live, then you won't get a free copy. So you need to stay opted in until it's released.
You need to commit if you want that ring. Damn it.
Which is mainly a thing saying, don't opt out because then you won't get your free copy. So just stay opting in and you're all set.
I think that's a small price to pay for a free operating system. I think people should shut up and stay opted in. People were I heard some people bitching about this, and I'm like, fuck you.
Right. I don't see it
It's
as
like
that
they used to
big
charge
a
you
deal.
between $100 and $300 for this software in the past, and now all of a sudden there's like 3 different ways you can get it free. So shut up.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense why people would complain about it. It's like, just opt in. I mean, it's not costing you anything. You'll have to deal with a few little bugs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to put Windows 10 on my computer to try it, but oh man, I have so much stuff on my computer. Half of it's work stuff, half of it's, my stuff. 20% porn. I mean, that stuff copies easy, but still stuff that's got a copy.
Right.
For me, it would be reinstalling. I've got
all of your games.
Well, the games, but I have a lot of art stuff, and I could toss it all onto the external hard drive, I guess.
Well, do you put your Steam games on your D drive?
Yes.
So you can just reinstall Windows on your C, not touch your D at all, and then if you... Wow. Yes, Joe. Don't touch your D. Never again.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, wow.
What just happened?
I got the vapors. So, and you can just reinstall Windows, and then if you reinstall Steam and point it at the exact same place, it'll just re-verify the game. It won't actually re-download at all.
Okay. I think the only thing I still have on my C drive is World of Warcraft, because I installed it there and never moved it. But World of Warcraft is becoming this massive game that is just taking up 80% of my hard drive.
Yeah, at some point it's just going to need its own dedicated drive.
Right. Well, the last patch was over a gig, so...
Yeah.
The other thing I'm toying with is buying a new hard drive before then. The 512 gig drives are getting so cheap that it's, they're under $200 for a 512 gig SATA 3 SSD. So, I have a 256, which isn't bad, but, it's full. I mean, it's mostly full right now. So I'm like,
wow.
Ugh. So I don't know what to do.
Developer Rocksteady Studios, creators of the latest Batman Arkham game called Batman Arkham Knight, is getting a lot of shit right now for the PC version of their latest release. It's frame locked to 30 frames per second, although you can mess with that if you dig into the configs. The game has some crashers and stuttering issues. Performance is just a complete shit show all over the place, no matter how powerful or recent or overpowered your system may be. They say they're working on it. AMD's already released optimized drivers, and they're trying to make it better. But right now, at release, it seems to be a mess. Could this be this year's Assassin's Creed Unity?
Well,
so the question is, first of all, have either of you ever played a Batman game?
Yes.
Interesting. And
it's basically Batman flavored Assassin's Creed.
Batman ice cream. I could see how we'd want that. That
Bass cream
could seem chafing. So, yeah, I don't know. These Batman games have never really been on my radar. I hear great things about this one. People seem to like it. The graphics look neat. Everyone's getting, shooting their wads all about this thing. But I'm not really into them.
Mm.
Well, I also heard it's locked to 30 frames on the PC, and the only way to change it is by going to a INI file and editing it manually so that your frame rate can go above 30. But from what I hear, 30, 60, it doesn't matter. You're going to have some terrible frame droppage, and it's just very poorly optimized. And no matter what, somebody said they had a GTX 970 that couldn't handle the game.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's the card I have. I'd be very upset if I brought a new game home and that card could not handle it.
Oh, I didn't know you bought a 970. Nice.
Yeah. About, I want to say 4 months ago now.
That's one of the things I was toying with doing, was buying my new video card sooner than later. So and then just moving that into my new computer when I build it.
Just wait for the next part of NVIDIA's cycle. Will be a huge jump up, because that'll be the end of the 900 series, and whatever the hell's coming after that'll be really nice.
But it'll be expensive.
Right. That's when you get the 970, because it'll be dirt cheap.
Right.
Yeah, or the 970 GTX, when that comes out.
Right. This week's Humble Bundle is being headlined by The Borderlands. Now, we are all big Borderlands fans here at HammerCast. You guys did a playthrough together of Borderlands and Borderlands 2, or just Borderlands 2?
Just Borderlands 2.
Okay. Well, if you go to the Humble Bundle this week, you can pay what you want for the original Borderlands, plus the Zombie Island of Dr. Ned, Mad Moxie's Underground Riot, and Secret Armory of General Knox DLCs. If you pay above the average purchase price, you'll also get Borderlands 2 with the Psycho Pack, the Necromancer, the Creature Slaughter Dome, and a coupon for 75% off the Borderlands, the pre-sequel game. So for $15 more, you'll even get the Borderlands 2 Season Pass, which includes all the great story-based DLC, Captain Scarlet and her pirate booty, Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage, Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which is, by all accounts, the best thing ever. So if you've not gotten Borderlands yet, haven't played it yet, well, first, what the fuck's wrong with you? And second, head over to humblebundle.com and get your Borderlands on right the fuck now.
I think I need to do that. Just for the DLC. I mean, you can take the DLC and apply it to your game, can't you?
I believe so.
Hey, so here's something in the middle of the show. If we got to come up with a contest, because I will give one away. I will give away a Humble Bundle to someone.
Okay.
We got to come up with something.
All right. Let's see. I have no idea. You put me on the spot there, Todd.
All right, well, maybe we'll think about it and do it for next week.
Sure. That sounds great. So you heard it here first, folks. Listen, subscribe. Make sure you come back next week, and we will have a giveaway for you. You'll win the Humble Bundle Borderlands bundle. Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and whatever else they see fit to add to the Humble Bundle between now and next week. It's running until July 7th, so we'll have plenty of time to snag a copy and have it ready for you next episode. That'll be episode 20. Let's see. Pixel art. I know, Todd, you in particular are not a big fan of pixel art in Minecraft, but this was pretty damned cool. A streamer named Thoriar has created what he believes to be the largest pixel art image ever made in Minecraft. It took him 23 weeks of work, and he put the finishing touches on the image, and during a video he uploaded to YouTube, he used over 1.1 million blocks to create an image of Sarah Kerrigan, Deathwing, and Diablo from the Blizzard Legendarium, and it looks kind of freaking amazing. Did you guys take a look at this?
Yeah,
I saw that.
When I went to the video, when I saw the thumbnail for it, I thought that was a placeholder thumbnail for what he was making, and that the actual in-game thing was going to look different, but no. He pulled up a Dyn map of it because the game couldn't render everything that he did, so he had to load up Dyn map. He used all vanilla blocks and made a picture that looked very, very detailed. And I mean, I can't imagine that somebody had some sort of template for him to do this. Did he just go through and just make it as he went? I didn't really read into how he made it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Did he even
If
say?
we dig up any more information about it, we'll go ahead and stick it in the show notes. But no, he didn't really talk about where he got the image from or if this was his own art or what. But this thing looks amazing. Like, Blizzard could make a poster of this and it would sell like gangbusters. That's how good this is. And, you know, it's compared to the, you know, stand-up pixel art of Pokemon and My Little Pony and whatever else people make in Minecraft, this thing is a tour de force.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
I saw it come across Reddit the other day, and I didn't even believe it was pixel art at first. I mean, I can only imagine how far he was standing away from it in order to get it all in the frame.
It was Dyn map.
Yeah, he had to do it in Dyn map.
Oh,
you couldn't do
see.
it in the Minecraft client. The view distance, the draw distance just doesn't go that high.
So he did it all with vanilla blocks then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I did say that.
Well, I think it's impressive too, so fuck off. Just saying. Sorry, I'm buying this Humble Bundle.
Sure.
Okay.
So, have you guys ever played Hotline Miami?
I never even heard of it.
I think I'd have. I know what it is.
Hotline Miami is a very violent game. It's a top-down kind of beat-em-up game where you play this guy who gets these contracts to go out and kill people and beat the shit out of them.
It's more like...
It's a very
I'm
violent game,
listening.
very stylish kind of graphics and play style and music. It's like 1980s Miami, and it's kind of crazy. You should definitely try it. Well, Thomas Cole has recreated maps from Half-Life in Hotline Miami, and he's creating a playthrough campaign called Half-Line Miami, where basically you can play through Half-Life 2 in the Hotline Miami engine, and this looks pretty kind of awesome. Sadly, it only works right now on Windows 8, so hopefully we'll be able to play it when Windows 10 comes out. But this thing looks pretty neat.
Why only Windows 8? I don't understand that.
Something about the sound system. Yes, he's having to work on it because it's only playing sound in Windows 8. You could play the game, but you'd be playing it mute on Windows 7.
Who are the people that are making the music for it?
I'm not certain.
Because I know a big part of the reason people loved Hotline Miami was
the music was amazing.
Yeah, the music, the track that they had for it was great. Adding to that, just running around beating people's heads in with a baseball bat or a shotgun.
Or just stabbing them with knives or what have you. This was a very violent game, folks.
It was a very violent,
let's not mince words.
Top-down, low-res game, but it was a good game. So
Agreed.
Yeah, I have no concept of this game. I've never played it.
Well, don't be surprised if it shows up in your Steam library one day.
Great. It'll sit there with all the other games I don't have time to play.
Yeah. So we were talking about Xbox One and PS4 earlier in the show in our follow-up. This news comes to us out of Japan, and Microsoft has never done well in the gaming console market in Japan. The Xbox 360 did not sell particularly well over there, and the Xbox One is doing dismally. During the week of June 8th to 14th, so earlier this month, Microsoft sold a grand total of 100 Xbox One consoles in all of Japan. 100 consoles. That puts it behind the PS3 in sales that week.
Dismal is putting it nicely.
So wait, PS4 only sold 100 units?
No. Xbox One sold
sorry. 100
units in Japan. Compared to, let's see, Xbox One sold 100 units. The PlayStation Vita sold 10,000 units in Japan in that same span.
Well, it's a big mobile gaming culture.
That's true. Very true. But yeah, so the biggest seller was the new 3DS. So that's no big surprise. So yeah, just have your new console outsold by last generation's competitors, just kind of sad.
Yeah.
But hey, they're doing okay here in the US, so I guess that's what matters.
Well, yeah. I mean, Japan has huge PlayStation support, right? And Nintendo.
Yep.
So it's been tough for Microsoft to break into that market.
Right. I sometimes wonder if some of that is just nationalism and some of that is the fact that, you know, a lot of the game genres that Microsoft prides itself on publishing for their platforms or getting other publishers to bring to their platforms aren't exactly the biggest ones in Japan. I mean, if you look at the Xbox catalog and go, hey, where's my JRPGs? There aren't many there.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them, you're not going to move units.
Yeah, it does feel to me like the the games, the catalog for Xbox is more, US and Europe driven to me.
Right. Shooters, driving, action games, etc. Sports, definitely sports. Sports ball, yay. And also, speaking of Japan, we've got Shigeru Miyamoto. This guy is the legendary creator behind Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong. If it's a Nintendo property and you love it, this guy probably had a hand in it. And he had an interview where he revealed what he thinks are some of the reasons behind the Wii U struggles. Most of this being that it was priced too high. And as someone who has been staring at Wii U's on store shelves for the last couple of years, trying to decide whether or not I want one, I will say that the price point is a big demotivator for something that, may end up collecting dust.
Yeah. As a passing interest, I agree.
Right.
Yeah, that's always my my internal argument when I buy these things. I have to have some other use for it. So the PlayStation 4, I don't play a lot of games on it, but I use it all the time for Amazon Video and that kind of stuff. And I know I could have got cheaper things to just play Amazon Video, but it can also play games. So, right. In my brain, that all kind of made sense.
Speaking of which, I need at least one of you fuckers to come play Destiny with me. I know, the sun makes it unplayable, so, whatever.
You gotta get me a HoloLens and I can play anywhere.
Yeah, there you go.
So work on that.
Sure, I'll get right on that. Joe, what do you think about what Miyamoto had to say about the Wii U?
What is the price point at?
I believe it's retailing at around $300. Let me go see what Best Buy's got it for at present. Yep, $300 even at Best Buy, Walmart, Target, etc. And this is a 32 gig bundle that includes 2 games.
And you can get an Xbox One bundle for $350.
Right. Or a PS4 for $350.
Seems like a no-brainer.
A lot of people look at the Wii U and they see a glorified tablet.
Because of the gamepad controller?
Right. And he even mentioned that in a time where we're seeing a lot of tablets, people don't want to spend a ton of money on this because it just looks like a tablet game that you could connect to your TV. I know that there's a little bit more to it than that, but from appearances, $300 for a tablet, well, I mean, that's not really that much of a difference, but for a tablet that can only play Nintendo games, I suppose.
Well, a tablet that can only play Nintendo games and is stuck in your living room. You guys can take your iPads or your Nexi or whatever tablets you tend to own, and you can go take it on a road trip with you. Good luck doing that with the Wii U gamepad.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Go on.
Well, and the tablets that we have that we can bring anywhere, they also have motion control, right? Where you can tip it and it recognizes.
Yeah, the accelerometers and the gyros. Yeah.
So yeah, what were you going to say, Todd?
Nope, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was up. Yeah, Dwayne and I were up like
we
18 hours
late.
yesterday, working from 3 a.m. on, and I'm still catching up a little bit.
In other Nintendo news, it turns out that sometime back in 2011, Nintendo went to Burnout developers Criterion Games and pitched them on making a new F-Zero game for the Wii U. Did either of you guys ever play any of the F-Zero games back in the long, long ago?
Yes.
No, I was never into racing games.
I played the crap out of those games. I loved those games.
So you understand the appeal then.
Yes.
So there could have been a new F-Zero game. There hasn't been one since 2003 when they shipped F-Zero GX for the GameCube. It is one of Nintendo's many IPs that has been somewhat underserved in recent generations, and it would have been really nice to see another one. Sadly, that deal did not go through, so it never happened.
Thumbs down and fuck off.
Thumbs down and fuck off. Todd, you were talking about Guild Wars 2 earlier. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle over the new expansion, Heart of Thorns, and their pre-purchase arrangements. The pre-purchase program started last week during E3, but sadly it did not start well. The expansion will cost you $50, including the base game at no extra charge, which is great for folks like me who don't own the game, but for folks who bought the original game and have been playing it for however many years it's been out now, it's not a great incentive to be forced to buy something that you already own. And as a side note, Bungie is suffering the wrath of the community as well for doing something like this with the upcoming third expansion for Destiny. So what is it with these companies trying to get you to pay for shit that you already bought?
Well, wait. So, okay, it makes sort of sense with Guild Wars because in the PC world, they've been doing that kind of stuff forever. So the bigger point, I think you touched on a more interesting topic, in my opinion, was Destiny. What are they doing with Destiny?
So the new third expansion coming out in September has a $40 price tag, which is 2/3 of what you paid for the original game. And you're only getting one expansion. In comparison, the first two expansions could be purchased via the Destiny Season Pass for $30. So you got two expansions for $30. You're getting this one expansion for $40. And on top of that, all of the collector's editions, both the physical collector's edition with all the tchotchkes and the digital collector's edition with the in-game unlockables, require you to, well, first of all, they're both the same price. They're both $80. And so there's no price difference between the physical stuff and the non-physical stuff. And they also force you to buy the original game and the first two expansions along with it. So that $80 gets you everything. It's a great turnkey deal if you've never played Destiny before. Oh. But if you already own Destiny, if you want any of the collector's edition tchotchkes, you've got to buy Destiny and The Dark Below and House of Wolves all over again to get the Taken King plus all of your trinkets.
Is Destiny the first console game to start doing that episodic payments for games like that?
I don't want to say it's the first simply because I'm not absolutely certain. You can definitely compare it to the Telltale games where you buy the game and then you depending on how much you paid up front, you may have to purchase the additional episodes. But this is the first time I've seen a shooter. No, I don't. Wait, no, yes, they did. Yes, they did, because they have The Wolf Among Us on console. They have the Tales from the Borderlands on console, and so on.
And you have to buy those separately, and they download and all that kind of stuff.
I think there's a way to just buy the first episode, and then you have to go back and buy the second episode when you're done. And then there's a way to buy the whole thing up front, and you'll get all of the episodes as they release if you're willing to pay more up front.
It's interesting. I didn't realize that model had made it to console yet.
Yep.
As for Guild Wars 2 and what they're doing, I don't think I've heard of that very often, where you buy an expansion and you get the original game with it, whereas if you own the game already, you're paying the same that people are paying for both of them together. I think there should be some... What they're doing is they're giving you a free character slot, or they're giving you an extra character slot if you buy the expansion and you've already owned the game as of January 23rd, I think it was.
Right.
But I think what people want is more of a discount on the expansion, even if it's like... what does the original game cost now? $20?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Then they'd rather get the expansion for $30 and kind of get the discount of what their game still goes for. So if the game costs $20 right now, then they get a $20 discount on the game because other people are getting the game for free. Mm-hmm. And I can see their argument in that.
I agree.
I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
You've got the Blizzard games. Like, Blizzard has always been really good about this, where if you already owned the core game, they would let you buy the expansions that you wanted. This all started with StarCraft with Brood War, and you had the expansions to Diablo and Diablo 2, and now we have the never-ending procession of expansions for World of Warcraft. And you could always, if you already own the core game, you could always go out and buy just the expansion. And if you didn't own any of it, you always had these battle chests available to you, where for slightly more than just the expansion, but not, an exorbitant amount, you could go ahead and just get on board from all the way from the beginning to whatever is current now. And it seems like stuff like what ArenaNet and Bungie are doing is kind of flying in the face of that, because they're telling longtime users, longtime community members, all right, that's great that you've been playing Destiny with us since last September. Or that's great that you've been playing Guild Wars 2 with us from launch. But if you want the latest content, you're going to have to buy all of that all over again just so you can get to the new stuff. It seems a little scummy to me.
I think it's a little scummy, for Destiny to do that, because you have to pay for your Xbox Live or PlayStation Now or whatever the hell, subscriptions to do all that other stuff, to play multiplayer and all that kind of crap. Where at least in ArenaNet's issue, in their world, you're not paying a monthly for anything. You pay for the game, and that's it. They support their servers based on whatever people pay for the game. So, in my opinion, you just need to shut the fuck up, because Bungie or ArenaNet gives you a ton of content for free. You spend $50 on the original game. You can't compare that to any other form of entertainment. So just shut up and play the fucking game. If you want the expansion, pay $50 for it and shut the fuck up, because it's worth it. If you like,
you know what? I'm not against paying for the expansion. I want to pay for the expansion for the games that I enjoy playing. My problem is being forced to buy something I already paid for.
Well, I think in the Destiny world, that makes more sense, what you're saying. But I think in the ArenaNet thing, $50 for the amount of content they're giving you in the expansion, plus the next 2 years of content they're going to give you for free, is well worth the money, even if they're giving away making you rebuy the game again. I mean, Jesus Christ, they're really just giving it to new players so that they don't, when they spend their $50, they're going to get everything. And that makes perfect sense to me. They could have just shut the fucking game down and said, all right, we're releasing Guild Wars 3 and it's going to be called this new thing.
Right.
I have no issues with what they're doing. People need to just stop bitching for the amount of shit they're getting for free, for Pete's sakes. They could be playing WoW still and giving Blizzard $30 or $40 every year or every 2 years for expansions and paying $15 a month. I think that the people playing in ArenaNet are making out, so they just need to stop. My opinion.
All right. Well, we'll go from one buy-to-play and no-subscription game to another big buy-to-play, no-subscription game, Diablo 3. Now, did either of you guys ever play Diablo 2?
No.
Yeah, I played it.
All right. Do you remember the Herodric Cube?
No.
So the Herodric Cube was one of the most iconic items of Diablo 2. It was this item that most people would just keep in their bank, but you could open up this item and it would have a certain small item grid inside it, and you can put items into this thing, and if you did it in certain combinations, you could click a transmute button and it would turn those items into another item. and it was used for all sorts of crazy stuff. It was used to make low-quality gems into high-quality gems. It was used to fuse runes into better runes. It was used to upgrade items. It was even used to open the apparently non-existent portal to the non-existent cow level. Well, a lot of people were disappointed when Diablo 3 came out, and it had nothing like the Horadric Cube. And Blizzard's going to be addressing that in Diablo 3's 2.3 patch, where they're going to be adding the predecessor to the Horadric Cube called the Kenai Cube, and it will be doing pretty much a lot of what the original Horadric Cube did in Diablo 2. They'll be able to break down their legendary items and equip their special effects as passive skills. They'll be able to convert crafting materials from one type to another, and a whole bunch of other stuff that Blizzard isn't talking about yet, and probably will be adding even more to as the game goes on. The Horadric Cube was a big part of Diablo 2 life if you stayed with the game for longer than, 2 or 3 months. And this is kind of neat. I'd ask you guys what you think, but you guys didn't play much of the game, sadly.
Blizzard, they're just backlash bitches. That's all I got to say. Go on.
I mean, as somebody who still likes to occasionally play Diablo 3, it just seems...
That sounded like a dig. Was that a dig? I sensed a dig.
Who, me?
Yeah. As someone who occasionally likes to play Diablo 3 still, it sounds like you want me to play Diablo 3. Like, I don't. Well, I don't. But
no.
Never mind. Go on.
No, I'm just saying...
Well, if you're going to be a bitch about it, then you stay over there, Todd. We'll play Diablo 3.
If anything, it was a dig at Dwayne, because he said, well, you guys don't really have an opinion on it because you didn't play Diablo 2, but, I've already played a ton of Diablo 3, and they're adding a new item to the game that's going to, revolutionize the game?
It's definitely going to make things very different.
I know, I saw one thing of people saying that every one of your characters won't have to wear this ring that reduces the set requirements down to 2. So you only have to wear 2 of the set pieces in order to get the set bonus.
Right.
So everybody was stacking those so that they could wear the 2 set pieces to get the set bonus and then better gear on top of that. Right. So you'll be able to, transmog the gear into the set bonus? I guess I'll have to see how the cube works.
So you could just break down that ring and use its special effect without wearing the ring, and now you could wear something more useful in that slot. They're also adding 4 new difficulty levels to the End of Torment, which sounds like it will be absolutely crazy. I will probably not be nearly good enough to venture into them, but I look forward to some badasses getting their asses kicked on Twitch.
Why'd you take all the stuff out of your hat?
I was trying to see how useful it was as a storage device.
How?
So Todd's wearing this sombrero. It's quite fabulous.
It is my PAX South sombrero.
Oh, I see.
I think PAX Prime we're going to be wearing bowler hats.
Bowler hats? I don't want to wear a bowler hat.
No, it's management only.
Oh, okay, good. So how did it rate as a storage device?
Not bad. I think I would need a better quality hat. It was starting to lose structural integrity.
Oh, okay.
You were putting an awful lot of stuff into the sombrero.
I only had my hat, my e-vape mod thing, my tablet, some dice.
What was the big yellow thing?
Oh, that's my
Those things are heavy.
My Bob Tic Tacs.
This show is not sponsored by Tic Tac nor Minions.
Or Yeti.
Or Yeti, yes. Or Blue does not sponsor this show, but if they want to, we're listening.
That's right. We're open. We are fucking shills right now. If you want us to sponsor something, I'd sponsor a goddamn dildo that was still dirty, for Pete's sakes, if they gave us money.
Wow. We are sponsored by Starbucks, though. No, we're not.
No, we're not. We're not sponsored by Starbucks. So that'll be it for this week, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. HammerGaming.com/HammerCast/19 is where you can find show notes for this episode.
Subscribe and follow, motherfuckers.
Yeah, do all that stuff. We are at Hammer Gaming on Twitter. Follow us and you can get updates on when new episodes are available. And you can also get other news from the Hammer Gaming community. Todd, where can they find you online?
I can be found at Dregger, DREGG0R on Twitter.
Awesome. And Joe?
You can find me, DazikLP, DAZIKLP, on Twitter. and tweet me and send me stuff and follow me on YouTube.
Send him pictures of Jar Jar. Send him nothing but pictures of Jar Jar.
I would enjoy that.
For every picture of Jar Jar he gets, we send you snakes.
No, send him no pictures of Jar Jar.
And you know what I mean by snakes.
Every time
Yes.
I get a picture of Jar Jar tweeted to me, I will send Dwayne a picture of a snake.
Great.
And anyone in our internal gaming group understands that reference.
Yep.
The rest of you, it's a long story.
It's a long
It is a
story.
very long story. We don't need to revisit it here. I am on Twitter at Valthonis. That's VALTHONIS. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thumbs up and fuck on.